Hello, Nano Love. How do you feel looking at this beautiful image? This particular image shows a hair extension, a mega hair made entirely of pure keratin. Today, here in Brazil, they're called keratin capsules, but it's actually a keratin polymer, which is basically a type of glue. It's a type of strong glue that, once it quickly hardens, becomes glassy, so it securely attaches small individual strands of extensions to the client's natural hair. Shall we talk about this? So, Nano Love, if you enjoy the cases I bring here and haven't subscribed yet, subscribe quickly and turn on notifications. Come and live in this beautiful house. And also, please like, comment, and share this video with all the wonderful women who truly need to know about the fascinating evolution of hair extensions. NANOslim. This particular case that I'm going to present to you is truly impressive because it is in fact a really cool and fascinating case. In fact, I'll leave this client's testimonial at the end of the video. It was an audio that she sent me explaining, right, how she came to know about the NANOslim. And when she came to us, let's talk about the specific dates. When she actually arrived on May 7th in the year 2021, she was like this, actively using keratin extensions. And she came with a really major complaint, right, that her natural hair was very thin, quite delicate, and extremely tangled, causing her significant distress. And she was quite worried about the future of her hair if she continued. But she truly needed it. She still does. She likes to use hair extensions. But at that particular time, she really needed them because her hair was truly very fragile. So we welcomed her. Her name is Simone. We welcomed Simone here, and she told us her whole story. Before these keratin extensions, she was using adhesive ones. She went through a tough situation with adhesive extensions during a trip, on a cruise, and in the audio, in the message I'll leave at the end of her video, she'll share that experience with you. But I'm going to show the entire period from 2021 up to now, 2025, which marks 4 years of partnership between NANOslim and Simone. So follow along with this entire step-by-step process. As you know, I share my Google Photos with the client's case for you. Well, first of all, I've worked with keratin extensions some time ago, and it's a very, very invasive technique. The one thing that truly made me really uncomfortable was, well, a few different things, right? The client would always complain that strands would fall out, or if she came to have her hair blow dried at the salon or did it elsewhere, strands would come out on the brush. She would always show up with little tiny strands loose inside a small bag or a little pouch, and her hair was always unevenly cut, quite noticeably because of these persistent issues. The heat from the blow dryer, you couldn't use tonic, you couldn't treat the hair because anything could make it come loose. So the sun, the beach, and the sea salt also contributed to, slowly crumbling this polymer, this adhesive glue in the client's hair. And the appearance, right? This tangled hair look, the hair bulbs, the broken hair, it really bothers visually. The sensitivity, when the client runs her hand through it, she starts to feel like, oh my God, my hair is all tangled. And then she stops detangling it because she thinks, if I detangle it, it'll be worse. So the hair would arrive at the salon very tangled, very broken, just like you're seeing here. And even a lot of hair was pulled out. So since it's a technique that uses about 40 to 70% of the client's hair to attach, which is all this middle part, we only leave the sides, the outline, and the top free. If we stop to think about it, right? If there are 250 little strands on the head and each of those 250 pulls out 2 or 3 hairs from the root, we're causing microalopecia on that client's scalp. At each point, there are hairs being brutally pulled out from the scalp. And that's what we see. Because they get tangled. They tangle up with each other. It's a horrible thing. And then to remove it, to do the removal, we need a product that contains acetate, which is basically acetone. We also use alcohol and oil. So you need to apply this product, spray it on, squeeze with pliers to break the glue. Then it breaks down and it becomes easier to pull and remove, to take that strand out of the hair. And then after you carefully remove it, there's still all that buildup left at the roots. When I remove the keratin bonds, I use a hand needle to untangle the little knots. And that's where the big challenge comes in because a huge amount of hair starts to fall out. So the client feels hair on her arm and starts looking around. The floor is covered with hair. And most professionals say it's normal and that most of the hair is from the extensions. But if you look at the picture and see all that tangled hair, there's no way to say, right, that you just removed an extension and the hair on the floor is from the extension. A little, yes, but look at the clump of the client's hair that's really tangled and matted, so it's very complicated. It was a maintenance session that made me feel really upset, you know? And here I'm showing it in detail, right? Her scalp is already very fragile with little hair and the strands are thin. Yeah, this makes all the difference, guys, the analysis, right? The client's hair assessment. Look at this mess, look at that. When we've already removed, right, the beads, the extensions, there's still glue residue left, right? Polymer all over the hair, all tangled up. There you can already see the amount of loose strands the client has. And we need to come in with a comb to remove this glue. It's hard, it breaks the hair. So for me, it's a very complicated situation. This stage that the hair gets to, guys, it's not healthy at all. You can see that it starts tangling groups of 4, 5, 6 strands together. So the client can no longer get rid of this dread, this tangle that forms at the roots. And you can notice how it starts creating gaps in the scalp. The white dots are hair follicles. Look at how many hair follicles have already come loose. They're already here, stuck right there in the keratin, you see? From the hair strands. All of this is hair pulled out from the client's roots. It's really sad. For me, this is one of the most invasive techniques, okay? The hair is all tangled, really tangled. Look at this clump of hair. I gently gather it all together. Notice how much hair is actually sacrificed in this process. I put my hand right next to it so you can clearly see just how much of the client's hair came out. So that was her concern. With every maintenance, she saw her hair falling out more and more over and over again. And that really is very concerning. So this is the testimony, right, that I'm going to share with you from Simone at the end of this video, so you can hear in her own words what the client feels in this kind of situation. And then we also noticed some leftover glue and a bit of the extension hair is mixed in as well, right? And in this first stage, it was the same process as with several other clients. We used exactly the same hair. She actually bought a little bit more hair to add in. I carefully wove the NANOslim wefts, okay? This is how her hair looked before. As you can see here, take a look. There is a very big, very significant thinning at the ends. This look here you can see it even more, right? A very significant thinning at the ends, and you'll see how her hair evolves. Look, another detail that's good for us to point out here. When mapping the head, we always observe the parting, the way the hair falls. So the wefts need to be placed below this line where her hair parts. With the wind, any movement she makes, this parting line will always show. So we always place it below. And it's really rounded, right? Because our NANOslim weft is anatomical, okay? Look at the thinning at her ends. Her hair should already be much longer by now. If we were to cut it, we'd have to cut around here, right? Okay, so she chose to shorten her hair a bit, right? The extensions, and now her hair is at bra strap length, at bust level. It looks very elegant. It turned out beautiful. Look at the finish, a perfect finish, right? Look at the blend at the roots, how beautiful, right? The finish is perfect. If I'm not mistaken, we applied 3 wefts to her hair. I can't remember the grams now, but it was 3 wefts because it's been a while, right? Since 2021. So guys, this was the result for the client to try out NANOslim. That's what the client told me when she arrived, right? A last attempt to be able to wear extensions in a healthy way, since she was thinking about removing them due to the constant damage from keratin, you know? So we were able to bring comfort to this client. And then afterwards we did highlights, right? I lightened it a little, did some highlights so she could also get to know my highlighting work. And then she started her experience with NANOslim. With hair at this length, right? Which is hair at bust length, a very elegant length. I think it's really beautiful too, okay? The finish, as you know, is truly impeccable. And the most interesting part, how did this hair actually start to grow? Take a close look at the difference between what you saw before and this remarkable growth. Look at the way it falls. Look at the healthy scalp. No clumps, no tangles, no knots. The delicacy, the lightness, and it still remains like this to this day. She has been our client for 4 years, and this is her hair growth. She's already used to it. She's never had any issues with it coming loose or pulling out hair. There are never any hair bulbs coming out. This is the growth with NANOslim, on average between 45 and 60 days, which is the usual interval for her maintenance. So she used these wefts for quite a long time, really a long time, because I'm going to show you when she actually made the switch, okay? To new hair. So she used it from 2021 until 2024, 22, 23, 24. For 3 years, she used this same hair, only making an addition here and there, swapping out a weft or two during that whole period. Because blonde hair really does get drier, it's more delicate. Another round of growth. Simply look at how her hair turns out, right? The growth. Look here, I zoomed in really close so you can see there are no hair bulbs. It's unreal how the hair looks after 60 days. Here, 45, 60 days, right? Depending, regardless of the time frame the client chooses. And notice how the ends are still full, still voluminous. This photo is from August, okay? So from May to August, the hair is perfect, voluminous. We just remove and reposition the wefts, and we also do highlights and treatments on the client's hair. Now showing you in more detail on video how the maintenance comes in. It's fine hair, which does tend to tangle, but unlike how she arrived here in May 2021 with her hair all tangled, now she can have a flat root. She can easily run her hands through, run her hands between the wefts, and thoroughly clean it without all that tangled hair. And in that situation, right, with those capsules and all that tangling, shampoo residue starts to build up at the roots, doesn't it? So see how much easier it is to take care of NANOslim as well. It's much easier because keeping it clean is much simpler, much more convenient, since you can wash between the wefts and there's no shampoo residue left on the wefts or the mesh, and they grow very healthy. And after we remove it with the specific needle, put it back in, right, reapply it, this is the final result. With the same wefts, I never get tired of showing this clean and delicate finish of NANOslim. Wonderful. Look how truly beautiful, how perfect, wonderful, such full hair. Look at the elastic barrier. See why it doesn't pull out the client's natural hair, right? Such as along with the hair bulbs. Because NANOslim truly respects the hair bulb, the scalp, and our client's natural hair. And now we finally reached the point that I really wanted to show you. These wefts kept getting smaller, and now right here we have Simone's hair, okay? Her natural hair. Look at this hair. Here we had already removed the NANOslim wefts. Let's check the dates. June 22nd, 2023. Look at the length of this natural hair. Look at the volume of this natural hair. Here, we don't have the wefts in, okay? So look at how her hair has been growing. And notice the density at the ends of her hair. We no longer have those super thin, wispy ends, right? She's running her hand through it to show that she's not wearing the NANOslim wefts. She's parting it so you can see it's her scalp, it's her own hair. Why did this progress, this growth happen? Because it stopped tangling at the roots, or because the hair grew out supernaturally. And that's what NANOslim is, respect for our client. And we recorded this on that day because she cut her hair again. On that day, she still didn't want to change the wefts yet, okay? They were shorter than her own hair. As you know, she was wearing it at bust length. So on that day, I made a point of recording her natural hair because after we repositioned the wefts, we cut it, right? So it would be at bust length again. So her hair just kept progressing, growing. Look at that. She's gorgeous, guys. She's the Barbie of NANOslim. Stunning. So I recorded it because she still hadn't expressed the desire to change or to add length. She was still using the same wefts. So we cut it and left her hair at bust length again. Look at that perfect hair. And her blonde too, right, guys? The highlights are just perfect. She really is our NANOslim Barbie. And Simone came, right? The story continues, and look at how she arrived on the day we... Anyway, she changed her hair, okay? She didn't want to cut it anymore. She really wanted to let it grow longer, right? So look at how it looks from the inside out. No tangles, no surprises, no hair bulbs pulled out, a healthy scalp, no micro alopecias on the head. This is NANOslim. It's important for you to understand why NANOslim is fantastic. So here, yeah, the growth on the right side, look how the wefts were, right, shorter at bust height. So we removed the wefts. This is her hair. We also did color correction afterwards, did highlights because we alternate, right? Sometimes we just do the contour and the top, and other times we do the whole head. That was her trip plan since she had already gone through a lot of trouble while traveling up until 2021. After 2021, she could travel everywhere without problems. Cruises, international trips, family vacations, always. This is her natural hair after we did the cut, and now we were going to add extensions, right? A new head of hair, and this was the result. And then we even did another color correction. So she actually put in 60 centimeter wefts. Because now, yes, she was going to let her hair grow out and follow the wefts. Dates. Shall we go over the dates? She made the change on July 4th, okay, of 2024. So from 2021 to 2024, she used the same wefts. And now she replaced them with 3 new wefts. So she kept the old one, okay? Look how beautiful, guys. Oh, I love it. Here I'm really showing the finishing, okay? The Nani's clean. As you already know, I like to show this. And we preserved the middle of her hair without highlights. So I did the contour, right? To preserve the middle of her hair. This was the result after we did a color correction, right? We took out a bit of the yellowish tone from the hair. We really added length, right? So her hair is right there in the middle at bust level. Look at it from the front. Beautiful, right? Thick, full. And now at this point, we finally reached the present day. Yeah, this particular look was actually the last one we did. It's from right now, from September, okay? September 6th, 2025. And I'm showing there, let me even go back here. I'm showing her wefts, which are 3, the same ones as before. Look how much her hair has grown already. And unlike how it was growing before with those gaps at the ends, now the ends are really full, really dense, right? So just look at how long her hair is now. It's really long now, right? It's not quite as long as the wefts yet, but it's almost there. And that's the health that NANOslim brings, right? That's what NANOslim provides. There we're showing how we do the blow up, right? The elastic barrier, because the elastic barrier absorbs the impacts of daily life. So when the client brushes her hair, sleeps, puts it in a ponytail, or does physical activity, all the movements the wefts make, whether stretching, pulling, or rocking back and forth, are because they're all in one piece. The elastic barrier protects. We also touched up the highlights around the hairline, nape, and hairline. And guys, the result, the volume of this hair, this is the hair of a client, guys. She has been our client for 4 years. Continuously, she has never said, oh, I'm going to take a break from NANOslim. Oh, I'm going to go a month without, never. These 4 years, she's been using it continuously, never had anything, not a single split end, nothing at all, okay? No problems at all. Look at this gorgeous hair. Spectacular. Really, really, really beautiful, right? Truly beautiful. And now I just want to say, look how absolutely beautiful this is, guys. What NANOslim brought here was even more volume, right? The volume she really likes, this big full hair, right? So that's what NANOslim provides. And now, guys, I want to share with you the personal testimonial, the testimonial she recorded. So listen carefully to the sensitivity and what the client truly feels.
So, Vanessa, you know, I'm not very good at telling stories, but here we go. Yeah, I used to have an adhesive tape extension, and then I would do the maintenance. Then after about 2 weeks, it would already start to get sticky. And then 3 weeks at most, I had to go back for maintenance at the very latest. And then it was always the same story that I was doing the home care wrong, that I wasn't using the right shampoo. So I bought the recommended shampoo, that I couldn't dry the extension at the root. So I couldn't use the hairdryer on the roots. I used the cold setting on the roots and the hot setting elsewhere. Besides that I wasn't being careful, that I wasn't using the hair mask, letting the mask touch the roots, so I could only apply the mask to the ends, and I kept changing everything. But even so, it didn't work. And then until one day, I put in the hair extensions, did the maintenance, and went on a trip. I went on a cruise, which was a cruise that went outside of Brazil. And on the trip, I went to the beach. First, I spent a few days at the beach, and then I boarded the ship. So it had been exactly a week or 10 days since I had put in the extensions. One of the tapes came loose while I was on the ship, and I got desperate because on the ship, as anyone who has traveled knows, the salon charges in dollars. And besides being in dollars, all the services, they didn't have the product to dissolve the hair extension glue. So what did I do? I took it out myself, removed all the glue with hair mask because I applied a mask to my hair and used a comb to scrape off the glue. Half of my hair came out with it, and I pulled off the whole tape. And then, you know, the rest of the story, when I got back, I took off that adhesive tape thing.
And after the adhesive method, I switched to keratin, which was more practical and allowed me to go to the pool. Blow drying my hair, however, had the downside that with every maintenance, I would see a large amount of hair coming out. So with each maintenance session, I lost a lot of hair. Another disadvantage, in my opinion, was that with every maintenance, my hair piece, let's put it that way, my hair strands would get shorter. So I invested a lot in hair, but that hair would soon be lost because it kept getting shorter and I had to eventually get rid of it. Anyway, I entered the process of postpartum hair loss made it unfeasible for me because besides losing hair from childbirth, I was also losing hair from traction caused by mega hair maintenance. That's when I discovered NANOslim, which became my salvation. Today I have my wefts, which are, well, I still have the same ones from when I first put them in, but I've already bought another set, and I don't have any excessive hair loss or shedding. Vanessa always shows me the amount of hair that comes out during the process, and it's very minimal. And I'm very satisfied, very happy. I don't intend to switch to another technique. For me, it's like this. I found what works for me.
So Donna Love, did you like this result? Did you enjoy hearing Simone's story with 4 years of uninterrupted use of NANOslim? If you like this NANOslim case, share it with that friend of yours who needs to evolve and get to know NANOslim, so she can also experience the magic of being able to use a healthy extension and have her natural hair grow healthily. 2. Leave your like, comment on this video, I'll love to reply to you, see what you thought, read your comment, interact with you, and subscribe. Come join this family and turn on notifications so we can help grow the community. NANOslim, that's it. It delivers what it promises. So see you in our next video.